Hey guys, what's on the video on the Inside Spurs channel? Happy Saturday morning, happy weekend. I hope you're okay. Hope you're all right. I hope you look forward to a good weekend. Obviously, loads of football's back. Football's back, which is nice. Obviously, you got the 12:30 kickoff today. Southampton, Man United. You got plenty of football today, actually. Plenty of football goes. I think there's an 8 o'clock kickoff today as well, actually. So there's so much football to watch me today. I think the F1's back this weekend, which is nice. You got the NFL obviously back as well. So much football. I'm so glad the international break's over. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about Sergio Reguilon. I'm going to be talking about the fact that he's probably staying now at Spurs, which I think is probably going to wind up a few people. Alongside that, I'm going to be talking some of Ange'S quotes from yesterday's press conference, because I think some people are taking them out of context. I think some people are taking them the wrong way, and I want to just add my 2 cents and maybe, just maybe, talk some of you down off the cliff edge. Or if you're a little too high, bring you back down to earth and find the middle ground. Just want to say, if you're watching this and you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And yeah, obviously did the preview of the Arsenal game last night. Please go back, have a little watch to that. Myself and Luke obviously doing that. He took my scoreline, so I had to go something a little bit bigger and bolder. Can't be outdone by someone on my own channel. So trust me, I don't actually believe the scoreline that I said. I actually believe the scoreline that he said. So, yes, morning Spurs, morning Dan. Nobody wanted Reggie. Well, look, I mean, let's see on that. There are some markets that are still open, but if we had to if we had to be a betting man on this and where he's going to end up and playing this season, or at least for the first half of this season, you'd have to say it's Spurs at the moment. The other thing, obviously, with that is he's still got the January transfer window. So we'll see on that. So look, to give you the official update, that Sergio Reguilon has actually been included in Spurs' Premier League squad for the season that we're in. And is that a situation where he had no interest? Is there a situation where maybe the interest that he had wasn't good enough for him? I mean, look, he talked about wanting Champions League football. God loves the hopeful. God loves the triers. You know, there's obviously there was a chatter that there wasn't much on the table for him, which does really show how much of his reputation now has fallen. If in my opinion, I don't think it's due to like Spurs wanting an outrageous deal. I don't think it's anything like that. I actually think it's actually teams looking at him going, we're happy with what we have, or he's not that much of an upgrade. There's no point. We have other issues in our squads. For me, I'm not the biggest Regiulon fan. For many reasons, by the way. And it's you know, I think some people look at it and go, he's left back. We need a left back. Oh, we got him. Great. And I think that's just a lot of copium, because for all the energy that he can give you, and he can go up and down quite well, his ability to whip in a cross isn't very good. Not the best defender, let's be real. And I'm being nice about what I'm saying here. I'm being honest, but I'm being nice. Not a very good defender. Link up play wise, average. So I think people are looking at it, and they're looking at it with rosy tinted glasses. But look, at the end of the day, he wasn't wanted by Ange. The club wanted to move him on. And by the looks of things, it looks like they're not going to be able to move him on. So they just think, well, we can include him within the 25, so he might as well for the first half of the season. Now, obviously, if he does play a game of football for Spurs, then he's definitely limited to only one move for the next if we're talking January, for the next few months of that season, because you're going to play for 2 different teams in one season. So I think it'll be a situation like we had with Eric Dyer and Ivan Perisic, that I think once it comes to January, I think there'll be teams who have injury issues, who have situations where they've sold players, and I think that's when he will move. So I still see him moving this season. I don't see him finishing out the season at Spurs. If he does, I think that's more of a testament to how bad this deal has actually aged in the end. And I think a lot of people go, oh, well, look at Daniel Levy. He got fleeced in that. It's like, well, you know what? You can't win every deal. And if you think you can win every deal, you're wrong. And God loves the deluded as well. He loves the hopeful. He loves all those people, but he loves the deluded as well, and that is delusion. He's better than Davies. I'd say no, just because Davies can actually defend. You know what I mean? He can play centre half as well. He might not be the greatest centre half, but he can actually do it. When the window closed, I was surprised he was still here. We couldn't even give him away. Yeah, I think it's one of those where he didn't have a market unless he was a free agent. That's the only way he was going to have that market, because he's on all, obviously at the moment, decent money. Spurs are going to want you to take on some of that decent money from them. You know, when you look at loan deals, there's always loan fees and things like that. But I was looking at the way you'd look at it with saying, treat him as a free agent. There's his wages. Take his wages. He's yours. But I think people are even looking at his wages going, for his production, those wages do not match him. You know, there's conflicting reports on like how much he's actually on. There's some that vary from like 58. There's some that varies like up to 80, 85. If he's somewhere within that, I don't think he values it. I don't think he is worth that money. I really don't. So it is what it is. It looks like we might be stuck with Sergio. And if we are, so be it. He's not in the European squad, so it doesn't make a difference for Europe that he's here or not. It's just for the Premier League. And I don't really see him playing anyway. I think if Destiny was to miss games, it'll be Davies or Spence coming in for him, which I prefer anyway. You know, I remember when I talked about how, Sergio Reguilon has obviously, the left back credentials. I sort of said, look, you got Destiny, who obviously is our left back. You've got Spence, who looks like it's the backup left back. You got Davies, who's also left back. I said, you've got Mickey van der Ven play left back. You know, these are all players that I would rather play at left back than Reguilon. Genuinely. So here's what it is, He has more pace as a left back. And I have brown hair, karate, Of course he has more pace. But pace doesn't mean you're a good player. This isn't FIFA, So moving on, I want to talk some of the Ange quotes, because I think these are fascinating quotes. Because I think some people have taken these in a really bad way. And I'm not going to go through everything that he said, by the way. Like, I'm not going to go through the team news. I did that on my preview. If you want to go find out the team news, go back and watch that, okay? I'm not going to talk about the Rodrigo Bentancur situation. We've already talked about that as well. What you would expect from his quotes is his quotes. You're not missing anything there. And I want to talk about actually a few of these. So, he got asked a question, says, what kind of impact could a win have on the rest of Tottenham's season? He said, it's hard to say. I've never felt there's an easy way to success. I don't think one win determines or can change your trajectory to a great effect, but it helps because it's not just a win in a big game in a derby, but it's a win against one of the top sides that you have more belief and confidence and potentially could sort of inject some real momentum into our season. But, I've never been one to think that, just the win on the weekend is enough for us to say that we're on the right course. And alternatively, if things don't go our way, the English in this, Football London's failed here. We need to, change course. That's not English. I don't know what that is. It's not English. Don't expect too much from Spurs this season. Mate, we're 3 games in. Come on. We're 3 games in. Look, one game's not going to mean anything in this season. Obviously drawing to Leicester, beating Everton and losing to Newcastle, you'd sit there and go, Spurs got 5 points from those first few games of the season, 4 points from the first few games of the season. You go, it should be on 6. But actually, when you go back, you analyze those games, you think about those games, Spurs were actually quite good in those games, which some people will go, actually, there was a 10-minute window, Andy, that we weren't very good. And it's like, great. Football's only a 10-minute game then. Fantastic. We were very good in those games. And had the Leicester game had this much more luck, Spurs would have been about 3 or 4-0 up at half-time. Had we had this much more luck, we would have easily scored multiple against Newcastle. Now, that's the beautiful thing. That's what football is. That's how it works. Another day, we win both of those games easily. But that's not how football works, is it? So when we look at this game, I predicted, when we look at the game from last season at home, not the away game, the home game, where we lost 3-2, we were the better team, in my opinion. They had 3 chances. One was an own goal. One was a counter-attack. And, well, the other one was set piece, I think it was. Um, with that, when you actually look at the game, we're actually quite solid. You know, a ridiculous offside. You know, created actually quite a few chances. It's one of the things. You know, we dominated the game. We dominated the possession. You know, but that's the beautiful thing. 3 chances, 3 goals. That's brilliant. That's that. I tell you what, I would if we only had 3 shots a game, but we scored all 3 every single game, I'd be happy as Larry. That's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? So when we look at, for us, this game isn't the be all and end all of our season. It's not the be all and end all of Arsenal season. It's not the be all and end all of Man City season or Liverpool season or whoever in and around that. It's not. But it obviously can be a springboard. You think Odegaard will feature in North London? I don't think he'll feature. I think he's injured, mate. Looking at what else he asked, he said, they questioned him. They said, after what you've experienced in this huge fixture in your time here, how would you try and sum up the North London rivalry? Which is interesting. I think some people go after the Man City thing at the end of the season. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand this rivalry, you know, which I think is quite arrogant from Spurs fans to say that. He said every sort of derby involves a bit different. Obviously, this one you can tell is fairly intense between the two clubs. Obviously, geographically situated in the same part of town. They're trying to defend the same turf, and there's always a little bit of an edge. I thought both games last year were very entertaining. I thought we played very well at their place and really matched it with them. As you know, could have won it on the day. Agreed. Here at our place, we got blown away in the first half. True. Tried to make a game in the second half, so plenty of goals. It's exciting. Well, we were good in the second half, to be fair. It was the Romero showing in the second half that everyone went, build the team around him. Just do it, you know. We know what it means to our supporters and what it means to the club. But like I said, for us, what's really important is we go out there and perform. We're going to play a football. We're going to play a football, play well, because irrespective of the rivalry, they're a top side, so you need to do that. The English in this, whoever's written this transcript has done a terrible job. You think Arsenal win 2-1, our high line will get punished again. Also, we can't finish our dinner. Ange's top man, but he needs to show what he means. Hopefully, we'll hit our form like last season. What thing is, like, it's people going that he doesn't understand the rivalry. Lazy take, yes, he does. There's evidence that he does. He's also a guy that's watched the Premier League for decades. You know about the big boys all playing each other. You know about the fact that it's a derby and a rivalry. You know, technically speaking, Man United and Liverpool is not a derby. That's a rivalry. Because situation-wise, they're not that close. You actually have to have a proper travel to get to one. You know, Man City, Man United, now that's a derby, as well as a rivalry, right? Ange knows he's judged on results, so what he says in presser won't change opinions either way. Yeah, he honestly could. He could be like, he could curse Arsenal out, curse Chelsea out, curse West Ham out, curse all of our London rivals out, and there'll be some fans that aren't happy. He could say, I actually love Arsenal. They're my favourite team. And, you know, he'd still make fans unhappy. It doesn't matter either way. He's not going to people think that he doesn't understand this game shows a real level of ignorance. If you do not know what the Celtic Rangers derby is, please go and educate yourself. Because that's a real derby as well as a real rivalry. That's a proper rivalry as well. Please go and educate yourself if you don't know what those two are like. Because if you don't know what they're like, you have no reason to comment on this game. Okay? So if you don't know, go and do it now before you comment. He understands what was involved in Rangers derby. There you go. Perfect. Rex got there before me, I think. He knows what it means. Some fans are brainless. Facts. So, yeah, there was some good stuff on that front. You know, when they asked him about Arsenal being considered Man City's title challenges, he said, they said, but I know you're ultra ambitious as well. There's a lot of needle between the clubs, you know, who finishes above who. Do you think the current squad you've got now is capable of challenging Arsenal this season? He went to say, well, not specifically Arsenal, but we want to be a club that can challenge everyone. That's what we're trying to aim to become and do. That you've got to perform at a certain level on a consistent basis. You've got to have a strong enough squad to do that, to withstand the challenges that inevitably come during the course of the season. But, you know, we've started fairly solidly from a performance perspective. Obviously, the results haven't reflected that, but I think we're in a good place to really push on from last year and improve in all areas of our game. If we do that, I mean, we got close to challenging last year, but there's no reason why we can't this year. Now, I think, yeah, obviously, I think what he's talking about last year is, being close is the fact that, when healthy and fit, we were toe to toe with anyone in the league. Once the injuries happened and there was, the showing of there's nothing really behind the starting 13, 14 players. There's nothing really behind that. So if we do have injuries, we're going to struggle. And there was evidence of that. Now, this year, obviously, we've got a little bit more depth. And I think I say depth, or the ability to rotate. And I think the quality is better, but I still think there's so much more work to be done in that squad. I don't think that squad's near enough completion, or maybe completion is the wrong one. I don't think any squad is ever complete. Even the best teams ever. I think there's always been a situation where you go, they could do with, another right back, or they could do with another left midfield. You know what I mean? So maybe the completion is the wrong word. Maybe in terms of a strength level, I think it's strong-ish. I think that's there's areas of the squad where I go, that's strong. I like that. And I think there's other areas of your squad where you go, that makes me nervous and it gives me anxiety. And that's fair enough. I'm a Spurs fan. I have been for decades, and that's how the game goes, isn't it? It doesn't matter who you are. That's how the game goes. I think for me, look, I love Ange for what he says. If he goes, I want to win every game, I want to challenge everything, let's have it. I'll follow that, because you should follow your manager. There's people that are still twerking for Pochettino. He's been gone for years. Conte, Mourinho, and you're more than welcome to. But you have to back the manager that's currently in. Doesn't matter if you like him or love him, hate him, loathe him, or you're indifferent. You have to bloody back him. You have to back the players, which obviously then goes, Johnson's rubbish. Maddison doesn't turn up, although statistically proven Maddison does, ironically. Son's finished. Slanky wastes of space. We've got our own fans that for some reason like just verbally abusing our own players for no real benefit. There is no benefit to that. Johnson's not going to read that and go, God, I tell you what, Andy's right. I am rubbish. I better step up my game. No, you're just going to... That's not how it works. It's like if I go to your office and go, no, Van Gogh's here. Hey, mate, how are you? Van Gogh, I'm not saying you're rubbish at anything you do, but just using your name as an example. Imagine I turn up to Van Gogh's workplace, or technically his educational place. I go, you're rubbish, mate. And I say it over and over, you're rubbish, you're crap, you're this, that, and the other. You're going to be sitting there going, mate, you're actually really annoying me. And it's going to start getting in your head. You're not thinking, I want to prove him wrong. You're thinking, actually, this guy's, he's supposed to support me. He's being a bit of a knob. So you're not benefiting anyone, Yeah, you are late though. I will say that. I can't defend that. Moving on though, they asked him about the cycle that we're in at the moment under Ange. And he said they asked him, special game Sunday, I was listening to you a few weeks ago talking about potential new cycles here, and Mikel Arteta probably went through a similar one. Do you see similarities with what he's building there to what you're trying to do at Tottenham Hotspur? Now, context. Mikel's been there how many years? Ange's had 3 transfer windows. Just had his 3rd transfer window. Mikel has had, Mikel's 4th, 5th year? Had, 8, 9, 10 windows, something like that, right? Listen in. It's hard to say, because I guess every situation is kind of unique in itself, because they're different clubs and I guess different environments. But I've said there's obviously a way to sort of build a team and a club, sort of go in a certain direction, and that always, for the most part, takes time. Emphasis, takes time. It's about finding the right people in the key positions, and all those things are club decision. As you go along, I guess clubs decide whether they want to continue down the road or not. The results aren't always there immediately, which is not surprising in this league. But I think for the most part, clubs have to sort of stuck to a certain direction, because they believe they're heading in the right way. You eventually get to a place where the team is competitive for a sustained period of time. And I think that's a real key thing there. Things take time. We tried the win now of Conte, Mourinho. We tried that. It didn't work. Right? Then obviously you're playing terrorist football and it's absolutely awful, and it's some of the worst thing you've ever seen. And I think I sat there and I was like, look, I don't care as long as we win something. We didn't win anything, so it wasn't worth our time. You then come over to this side of the game, which, by the way, it's one end of the spectrum to the other to say, really attacking football. None of this sit back, Lark. None of this back five, attacking football, back four, all guns blazing. And everyone goes, God, I really enjoy watching us again. I look forward to watching us because it's bloody great. Right? Look at all these really exciting players that have come through. Yes, we've lost Harry Kane as well. You add that in. We finished 8th in the season that he took over. We then finished 5th. That is an improvement. But what about those cup competitions? Okay. Yeah, we didn't do very well. That's fine. Obviously, injury issues, then playing Man City, and it's a foul on Vicario for their goal. I still hold firm to that. But injury issues aside, yeah, we were struggling. But then that shows this thing will take time because we have to bring in the right people. Technically, by the way, this season we have actually advanced in one of the cup competitions. We went out in the second round of the EFL Cup. We're in the third round now. We haven't played a game, but we're there. So technically, I'm just joking. Don't cry about it, okay? But for me, this season is, again, let's take another big step. Can we take another big step? Because we did take a big step. If you're losing Harry Kane and you're finishing 3 places higher whilst completely changing all the football that you've been playing, integrating new players, changing systems, and finishing 3 places above where you were, that is a sign of improvement. Success, I wouldn't say it's a success, but improvement, yes. So there's that. Now, this season, obviously, there has to be another step. Now, obviously, you got Europe, you got those abilities to maybe do something. You've got new players, obviously, that plays a part. Lads, leave them 9-year-old fans alone. They need to develop mentally first. They will whine and complain all the time. Doesn't mean you should listen to what they have to say. Agreed. This is my view for the next 3 years. Win a trophy first year, second year, solidify top 4, third year challenge. Okay, Cameron? Okay. So you think next year is the challenge year? This year is finishing the top 4. It's not outrageous. If I have to wait 3 to 5 more years for a couple title under Ange, I will. He's an okay wing back, not great, but can improve his defensive side. We just got ripped off by his former club. True. Pochettino only. Pochettino. Definitely no Conte and Mourinho. Not sure what you mean. Will the board give Ange time? That is the question. You would say so, yes, because you know why? The board aren't going to want to pay out on another manager sacking them. They had to do it with Conte, Nuno. They had to do it with Mourinho. They don't want to keep doing that. That's costing a lot of money. And for them, it's how Man United... Do you know what? That's the issue. Is Man United owners, they just want top 4 because you can charge more on your advertising. You get then obviously Champions League revenue. It's at the end of the day, all football clubs are a business. You know, there's people that go, well, look at the Wrexham owners. Look at them. They look like they're doing that for passion. No, it's still a business. It's still a business at the end of the day. But if you're getting that whilst you're playing sexy football and the fans are then on side because of that, it's what the manager does. And if you can truly see the managers doing something, that's when you truly then go and back him fully. We'll have to see on that. Yeah, either be patient, wait 3 to 5 years, or sack whoever comes your way and hope for the best for another 15 years. Well, look, if you keep sacking managers, you're never going to improve. At some point, you actually have to give a manager time. Conte got what? A year? Nuno got 6 weeks. Last time you gave a manager time, he was challenging for Premier League titles and he went to a Champions League final. Maybe let's go. Actually, you know what? We're going through a rebuild. We're now under this new manager, and this is what I'm talking about, Poch. We're starting to play better football. He's bringing through some youth. Okay, let's stick at this, Ange. And by the way, you'd not long sold Gareth Bale and Modric and people like that, right? Ange, we sold Harry Kane. You're playing sexy football. You're bringing through the youth, and we're going through a rebuild. Spot the correlation. Give it time. Just see what he's got, you know. Levy will sack Ange if he doesn't get top 4. I don't agree, because I think if he was to get 6th and win the Europa League, he ain't getting sacked. A couple of seasons ago, Arteta lost 8 games in a row and all the Gooner fans wanted him out. Food for thought, exactly. And actually, I think actually a lot of rival fans were going, no, don't sack him, mate. If you want to do well, keep this guy, because you can see he's trying to build something. He's getting rid of all the bad eggs. He's getting rid of all the big wage players that, just aren't going to be there for the long term. And he's bringing through the players that are going to be there in the long term. And lo and behold, if you can stick it out when times are tough, you can reap some rewards out of it. And now, what, the second best team in England? They're in the Champions League, probably now going to be in the Champions League frequently. Technically, I think they've won the FA Cup under Arteta, and it was like the first few months that he was there. I think he took over, and then they won the FA Cup, didn't they? Like, if you give a guy time, consistency is key, is it not? You know, if you keep consistently, it's like you go to the gym. If you consistently go to the gym and you keep trying your best and you're making sure you're working hard, you get results. But it doesn't come overnight. And I think a lot of our fans went, oh, look, we were top after 10 games. We should now go undefeated. We should win every competition. That's normal, right? And it's like, ooh, let's bring you down from up off. You can't even see them. They're all the way up there. You can't see it. Come here. Oh, let's bring you down here. Let's look at some context. We've got the results that we would have preferred against Leicester and Newcastle, but I have enough in those games. Ange'S the guy. Agreed. We played good football, but the rest will come later. Honestly, mate, I said, Rec, if Solanke plays those games, if Solanke played against Newcastle, we'd have won that game. The amount of chances that were just perfect for a proper number 9. And then if you leave in Sonny out on the left, that chance that Odebear has on the back post, Son scores that. You know, it's going to be painful to watch team play, but that's how development works. Yeah. We finished 8th in our season before Ange, and then sold Harry Kane. People predicted us to finish like 12th and 13th. We finished 5th. You know, the board should have given Poch and Mourinho the resources any time they would have won titles. I think Mourinho, it was like they wanted to sack him, and had he been there and won then the EFL Cup or the Carabao Cup at the time, whatever it was called, I think it would have been they would have costed more on compensation to get rid of him. So that's why they didn't, supposedly. Poch, obviously, they failed Poch at times. Obviously, there was times where they didn't, and they backed him, but then there was times they did fail him. You know, and that's where the key thing is. You know, highlighting where failure was rife. And at times with Poch was working with, you know, cracks in walls, and he was just, you know, he had cracks in the wall and he was using duct tape to put it over a wall and go, that'll hold. You know what I mean? And it wasn't going to. You know, it's a one or two situations cover up, but you can't fix a wall with tape. You know, Conte would have won us trophies, and the fans actually used to chant his name. Most home games sounds like the players who have gone causes outbursts and gave Levy no choice. No, Conte is a guy that will blow his gasket up on anything, mate. He's done it at every club he's been at. He's won trophies at other clubs and then thrown his toys out the pram. He even started this season at Napoli, hadn't even played a game, and was already talking about he might resign. Conte was at fault as well as other people. He wasn't a guy that, you know, time has aged well. Actually, time has aged really badly on things that he had acted. Some of the things aged well, and a lot of things have aged really poorly. I mean, you look now, Ange finished 5th, right? Conte finished 4th. Conte, that was great, right? The second half of the season, there was things that obviously he couldn't control that fell apart. You know, him having surgery, you know, coaches dying. But he didn't cover himself in glory. He didn't help himself. Now, he did get a lot of backing, but then there was times where Spurs needed that just a little bit more to help. But he didn't help himself. I mean, Romero would have been gone by now if Conte was still here, and we'd be worse off. You think Kane would have gone, Romero would have gone, we'd be screwed. Mourinho would have won just one cup and called it a day, not a long-term manager. Pope won the Newcastle game, good. Mourinho wanted Bruno, Rudiger, Kim and Jae. Yeah, they didn't. There was times where they didn't back Mourinho. Absolutely. This is my point. You know, there's times where these managers do get backed on certain things, and there's times where they don't. Now, obviously, you can't get backed on everything. You know, not even every manager in the world gets backed on everything. I think the key things you need to back them on, and I think some managers have been let down. Spurs board don't understand context. Fortunately, it doesn't get top 4 soon. He'll be sacked. Well, top 4 soon. I mean, it's the end of the season, so you know, May you're talking about. We'll put 4 past Arsenal tomorrow. I love it, Azagu Ganesh. What a name. Poch was so close, but never got the support of the board. They were too busy to build a stadium. It is what it is. Yeah, you can't look back now. Too bad Reguilon is not the type that Ange needs. So if he plays, I think Ange needs to change how they link up on the left, because chances are he's only allowed simple passes and just stay back. He doesn't really offer a lot attacking wise anyway. His delivery and link up is subpar. Only positive about our situation: when Spurs win, something's going to hit like crack. We will be there. Instead of popping bottles of champagne, I'll be popping bottles of summer fruit squash. You know, always got one on the table. You just never know when you need to crack it. Always on the table, as well as an actual glass of it. But yeah, I think there's some key things there. It's going to take time. Be patient. And if you're going to be patient and you go through the hard times, the outcome is normally very beneficial and great. That's the key thing. On Reguilon, obviously, look, he's going to be staying. You never know, with right coaching and Reguilon having a good attitude, because supposedly he needs to be loved and made to be one of the most important players at the squads. Bit of a weird thing. That's not normal, in my opinion. You should be liked. Loved is a weird one. Shouldn't need, if I don't go to work and need to feel loved. Respected, yeah, fine, perfect. Loved's weird. I don't need someone to cuddle me as I'm doing my job, Liked and respected, fine. Loved, too much, weird. Okay, and I don't care. Other people went, well, that's just normal, isn't it? It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's a weird attitude to have. But yeah, look, if he is going to come in and head down and maybe takes a leaf out of Jed Spencer's book. You never know then. And actually, if he does, look, he's not going to be here after this next season. He's not getting a contract extension. If he does do that, then do you know what? He'll end up getting himself a half-decent move next year. So maybe I'd be Reguilon with Van Ven at the back. Romero would got the field to link up. Yeah, Romero's just going to go, mate, Sergio, stay over there. Mate, I'll just do your job for you. Just stay over there. Do the player get a bonus for winning trophies? Well, yeah, it'll be a bonus for sure. There'll be some players that have written into contracts and things like that. Yeah. How do you mean staying as in playing? Well, Reguilon is staying. He's in the, right now he is staying at, in that he's been confirmed to be part of the Premier League squad. God, I was really failing there. Yeah, he's confirmed to be part of the Premier League squads. There are some windows that are still open, but it's most likely that he's going to be staying. All right. Hey, SMX, mate, how are you? G'day, Andy. Hitting the piss when Spurs play. Can I just say 2-1 Spurs, mate? Porro and Solanke score. I save a double for you. You bloody legend. Appreciate it, DJ Classic Tunes. I'm not on the drink, but I'll tell you what, I go to Spain in a few days, DJ Classic Tunes, mate. I go to Spain in a few days, and I definitely will be on the drink, and I'll be on a lot of it. I'm going to be absolutely paying for it the day that I come back, but we will be there. But yes, on the preview yesterday, obviously had Luke joining me. We will be doing a preview together in Spain for Brentford next weekend. Next Thursday, for the game at the weekend. So you're going to see us together. And you'll then finally see that he's much taller than me. That will hurt. Can Jed still be included in the Europa League? No, the squads have been announced. The next time he can be added is in January. But do all the players get a bonus from the club? Real Madrid give it'll be down to the club, to be honest, mate. You would think so. Good idea, mate. Absolutely. I'll be very looking forward to it. And for now, summer fruit squash. Mark, I'm going to answer your question now. I won't be doing a watch along for the game. I'll be at the pub watching it. Busy in the Sunday morning, so be at the pub watching it. So maybe might have a few Guinnesses tomorrow, just maybe. Lord Rodney Trotter, what a name, mate! That is a belter of a Lord Rodney Trotter. If you know, you know. He's got a solid beard as well. I just saw it. I don't know what you mean by your comment there, mate. Sorry about that, Rec. Maybe in the future I will be. But for now, no. Just because life's a bit busy, But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me this morning. Enjoy the rest of your mornings. Enjoy the rest of your afternoons. DJ Classic Tunes. Get yourself another beer at the bar, mate. Enjoy yourself as well. Look forward to hopefully maybe speaking to you either tomorrow, if not Monday. We'll be talking, obviously, hopefully, Spurs winning. We shall see. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, everyone. Look after yourselves. Have yourselves a pint or two on me. And I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Peace.